When we think of illness, our minds naturally gravitate toward its unpleasantness, its pain, its disruption to our lives. But what if there is a deeper, almost sacred dimension to it? In a profound teaching from Imam Ali, we find a perspective that transforms how we might view suffering and hardship. Imam Ali once said to a companion who was unwell, "Your groans are a form of tasbih. Your illness causes your sins to fall away as leaves fall from a tree." This isn't just a poetic sentiment, it's an invitation to reflect on the way that physical suffering, though deeply personal and challenging, serves another higher purpose. Imagine for a moment the leaves of a tree in autumn. As each leaf detaches and drifts to the ground, we might think of our burdens, our mistakes, our regrets, falling away with it. Imam Ali seems to suggest that illness acts as a purifying force, cleansing us of these burdens in a way that is subtle yet profound. From a heavenly perspective, even the smallest groan, the sound of discomfort, becomes a form of praise, an acknowledgement of our vulnerability, and perhaps our reliance on something greater. It's a kind of unspoken devotion, one that doesn't require words or even conscious intent. Just the act of enduring becomes meaningful. History and religion alike are filled with examples of individuals who treated illness as more than mere suffering. To some, it became a moment of deep spiritual work, an opportunity for reflection. We see this in figures who embraced their struggles, not with resignation but with a sense of reverence, as if they knew that even their pain carried its own sacred dignity. So, illness isn't just a trial. It's a moment that allows us to pause, to reflect, to shed what no longer serves us and to engage, even silently, in an act of worship that transcends words. And through this process, what's left behind isn't just the weight of sin, but a heart that perhaps feels a little lighter, a little clearer. If illness is a process of shedding, like leaves from a tree, then what happens next is equally significant. You see, while illness might remove burdens from the past, that purification opens a space that can be filled with something greater, something intentional. Imam Ali distinguishes between two forms of divine interaction, one that clears away sins and another, one of true reward, that responds to the choices we make, the words we speak, and the actions we perform. The difference, essentially, is that illness and hardship cleanse us, but only deliberate effort elevates us. And this effort, this conscious contribution, is where Ajr, the true reward, lies. Take, for instance, the story of a man I once read about. He suffered from a debilitating illness, the kind that leaves you sidelined from what feels like most of life. But instead of letting it define him, he decided to make it an opportunity. He started a support group, a small network of people battling similar conditions. They shared stories, resources, even laughter, and through that, they found resilience. The group grew, eventually raising awareness and funding for research. His suffering planted seeds that blossomed into something meaningful. Now, this man wasn't rewarded for the pain itself. It's not as if his suffering automatically meant recognition. No, the real significance lay in how he responded to it. Through his actions, through his words, he turned pain into purpose. And that's what earns divine reward. Not the inevitabilities of life, but how we navigate them, the generosity we extend, the care we share. We all face moments of hardship, moments where simply enduring feels like all we can manage. But perhaps what Imam Ali is teaching us is that these moments, while they cleanse us, also present us with an invitation to rise beyond the passive and into the deliberate, to act and to speak in ways that reflect our best selves. And it's in those deliberate actions, in that quiet striving for virtue, that we not only find reward, but perhaps a deeper sense of purpose. Like we begin to see how even hardship can serve as a gateway to something greater. So as we wrap up this exploration of illness and its deeper meanings, one profound idea from Imam Ali's teaching stands out. That in God's grace, it's not the quantity of our actions, but the quality of our intentions and the state of our hearts that truly matter. It's this purity of purpose and sincerity of spirit that brings us closer to divine favour. You see, life often measures success by output, how much we accomplish, how far we go. But spiritually, the emphasis shifts. It's not just about doing more, but about doing what's right, with intention, with a clean heart. And that, honestly, makes all the difference. A single act born of genuine love or a pure motive resonates far beyond 1,000 superficial gestures. There's also this idea of patience, sabre, that runs through so many spiritual traditions. In hardship, in illness, patience becomes both a shield and a mirror. A shield to withstand the storm, yes, but also a mirror reflecting who we are when the comforts are stripped away. And it's in that stillness, that patient waiting, where we often find clarity about what truly matters. But the fascinating thing here is how divine mercy intersects with our sense of responsibility. On one hand, we're taught that God's mercy is boundless, extending to those who falter, who stumble. On the other, there's this call to action, a charge to align our lives with principles of kindness, honesty, and humility. It's as if God says, I offer grace freely, but the richness of that grace deepens when you approach it with effort and intention. And that leaves us with a question to ponder. In our own lives, how do we reconcile this tension between grace and responsibility? In moments of hardship, and really in times of ease too, what steps can we take to align our hearts and our actions with higher ideals? What would it look like to live with that kind of sincerity every day? Perhaps it starts small. It starts with an honest conversation, a kind gesture, a quiet pause to reset our intentions. And from there, piece by piece, a bigger picture forms, one that reflects not just who we are, but who we aspire to be. Because in the end, this is the essence of Imam Ali's wisdom. That purity of heart and clarity of purpose transform even the smallest act into something truly profound. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, take care and stay well.